Hey everyone, just before we begin, this video is a re-edited upload of a reaction from our previous and now deleted channel, so please check that you subscribe to this new channel here, enjoy the review, and we look forward to seeing you in some new material coming very soon. Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we're going to be listening to and talking about a song, a brand new song, by a group who, well, I don't think any group more divides our rather eclectic group of followers and listeners than this one, which is Perfume. Now, to be fair, I can understand why. They are very pop, and they do use a lot of production, and they have a very famous producer, and so for our more rock fans, it's kind of like kryptonite. These guys can't get close to it, although they try. Bless you guys. So let's see if you guys can follow me for one more, and if you're into your pop stuff, then this is going to be an interesting one, because, as I've said before, the thing which has really come up with me is that I really like the sound of their producer, whose name I'm starting to remember. It's Nakata Yasutaka. Yes. I really like his sound in essence, but I do think that one of the problems is that he does seem to almost become a little bit limited by it. I mean, we've heard what he's done for Perfume, for Chiari, and for his own projects, and there is a lot of similarity between it. It's almost like he can't often get outside of this safe zone. Now, I would, however, say that I've got a little bit of a caveat there because people do criticise this element. But one thing you have to bear in mind is that, equally speaking, if you would criticise that heavily, you also would have to criticise any rock band who only ever uses guitar, bass and drums, because it's an equally limited sound. You could say, well, they have more, they write lots of different styles, and you could say the same thing of him. You could say that there's the element of musicianship, and yes, I would understand that the musicianship's a little bit, adds a little bit more feel than the cold sound of programmed production. However, do bear in mind as well that if it was just down to quality of musicianship being different every time, then a band could survive off of just playing one song over and over again and just releasing a different performance of it. Oasis. However, that's something which I'm sure that most people probably wouldn't want. So, I think it's valid to say that, okay, although he has a sound and it permeates into all of his group's music, he does definitely have a sound that he can do a lot with. I, however, want to hear him doing a little bit more. I want to hear him testing himself. Now, this is a new single that, actually, just in the time, this came out just before I went on a little weekend trip to Tokyo and then got the bus back. Now, when I was in Tokyo, I did see that this song is actually being promoted as the theme tune for a movie that's just coming out, so I think this might just be done for the movie, but this is something which is being promoted in relation to that, so hopefully it will get through the copyright. I've had a bit of problem doing reviews of these guys recently, because although you guys have been requesting them, it does seem that there's a lot of new copyright stuff coming up, or at least new stuff that I hadn't seen coming up on their videos, so it's a little bit difficult. Hopefully this one will get through. So I'm going to press play, we're going to listen to it now, and if it doesn't get through copyright, it'll be going straight over to the review. So fingers crossed we're about to listen to this song together. But this is the new song from Perfume. Let's check it out. Good example is, sometimes I say this about him, and like I say, for the producer, I'm talking as much about the producer as about the artist when it comes to these kinds of songs, because I think there's a massive correlation between the two. And you really feel that he very much puts his sound into all of these songs. So it's worth mentioning the both. Now, certainly for the producer, I don't think this really went, again, outside of his normal sounds. In fact, he was using sounds that were very identifiably things we've heard in his sort of older Chiari work, especially, like down to the piano voice, the piano sound that he was using. All of these different sounds, the little sort of saw synth sound, all of these sounds are ones that you've heard him use before. But what I liked about this is it was used in a slightly different way. There was the tone of the song was constantly shifting, which is what his best songs tend to do. Some of his kind of stick in a bit of a rut. This one was changing over time. It was going between half time and double time. Another thing that he does very well. It had like I say, the best thing about his sound is when you get those little sounds popping in and out. Like there'll suddenly be a synth here, and it'll be doing like little pitch bend notes, where instead of just going one note, da, da, it'll be going, so that's what we see meant by pitch bending. It doesn't just change note, it goes up to a note and then down. He plays with those sorts of synthesizers a lot, and that was a really good touch. He did a nice job with that there. Like I say, the sounds were good. This was all, again, I noticed within the sound that he does, but I think this was another example of him getting it really right. And like I say, you have to be careful being too critical about this thing if you're into any sort of other bands who always use the same instruments in all of their songs, or even the majority of their songs. So, I think given the palette that he's given himself to work from, he's painting a really good sort of picture here with the sound. Because the thing that you get across, and this is the most important of any style of music, is do you get the feeling from it? And with this, the feeling is definitely supposed to be one of slightly reminiscent, but also playful. It's supposed to have a joyous sort of upbeat feel to it. It's supposed to make you feel good, and at the same time, you can tell from the way the video is going, it's supposed to give you a sort of a feeling where you can, it's contemplative, I guess is what you could say. It makes you contemplate and think back to the past, and that's obviously the big message that they were going for here. And it certainly does, like I say, it certainly comes across. I mean, he manages to deliver that in the production without forsaking his own sound. Yes, some might find it a bit too much of a retread, but I do think that he brings something new here. It does have a different feeling. If you like that sound, then listening to this song will give you a different feeling from other songs that maybe to a more of an outsider to this particular thing would regard as being samey. You might, if you're more familiar and comfortable with the sound, you might get a very different feeling from, what the actual intended feeling of the song is. Will probably come through very differently. The performance I liked. I thought the vocal work was nice. I know they always use a little bit of production on it, but they used it to a fairly mild degree here, so you could kind of feel more of their own personality in the vocal performance. You could feel it wasn't overly compressed to the point where they try and do this and it's called, often they say it's to get the loudness, to get everything nice and loud, but it does mean that all of the peaks in the volume of various sounds are flattened out, and things can, for all of the thickness and loudness that it might give sounds, it does also take away a bit of the life and personality. In this, I think you could feel more when the vocals were being pressured up, when they were sort of pushing for a high note, and when they were going for a more relaxed note. There was a lot more feeling audible in the vocals, for especially for, like I say, a group who usually go for quite heavy vocal production and who are quite a heavily sort of studio sounding group to begin with anyway. It just, like I say, it felt like this was a nice, it had subtleties. It was very familiar, but if you're someone who is comfortable and enjoys this sound, then I think you'll see the subtleties, you'll see the interesting tone, the interesting mood of the song. I mean, to put with it as well, I'll just quickly mention the video, because the video was really nice. The video had a sort of a sweet idea to it. It's nice how it started with them then going over to view the screen, but I loved the way that they chopped between the videos. I've seen this once before, actually, which was interesting enough with the Canadian band Bare Naked Ladies. They did a video like this probably about 10 years ago, when this is already after they'd had a slew of hits, and I think they were releasing a song which was specifically for their best of album. And anyway, it was basically the video cut between various videos they'd done before, but they'd had it digitally changed so that in the various videos that they'd done before, they were instead singing this song, and it cut between them. This was doing the same trick, and I think it did it really nicely. I loved the way that they cut that in, and with, also when you got all that choreography, they really well balanced it, so it looked very deliberate, very purposeful. And yet also as well, with all the colourful things, all the presentation quality they have, you're getting all of that thrown at you at once. It was a real eyeful, it was real eye-catching, and in a good way. I thought that was just, it had a feeling of being both reminiscent and yet actively being a great support to the song that you were listening to. So, yeah, I can't really criticise that. I think that is, though, one that if you like the producer's sound, if you like the group sound, if you already like them, then this is going to be one that you're going to enjoy, especially if you like their more old school sound. It's going to remind you of that in a good, pleasing way and have some nice little callbacks along the way. If you are not naturally into their sound, this will not only not win you over, but will probably push you further away. I think this is one of those ones where it's not winning over any new fans. It's designed definitely as a play for the fans. This one's for the fans. It's for people who are already into it. And I think on that level, at least, it does a fantastic job. Very hard to critique it on that level. But yes, I guess if we were to give any critique, it's that the producer's using his oh-so-familiar sound very well, but it is a shame to hear him not really bring anything new sonically to this as a producer. Producers being people who their main job is thinking about the crafting of sound. I do know that he's a producer-writer, really. He's kind of more of that complete package. But as a producer, it'd be nice to hear him bring a little bit more to his signature sound. That's my only critique. But like I say, if you already like the sound, then you'll be able to look past that. You'll just be able to enjoy that, accept that, and see instead the different type of song. The way the song's a bit different, catchy as well. It's got the usual catchy chorus, but it is conveying a slightly different sort of mood, I think, from some of his other songs before. And it is very much in the subtleties, which like I say, once again, sorry to keep on flogging a dead horse, as I sometimes do. I sometimes ramble points over too many times, but it does definitely is one of those ones where the subtleties will only be visible to someone who is already comfortable with the sound of his production. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really looking forward to seeing your comments. I know there's going to be quite a few people who just automatically are not going to like this song, and that's fine. Feel free, even if you don't think you've got anything to say about this song, you just don't like it. If you can think of a way of justifying, get in there, tell me why. Let's have a good discussion about that, because that's one of the great things about this. We have so many different followers who like different types of music on this channel. I love the fact that we can have a good discourse about that, and have lots of different people talking about why they do and don't like things, and we can all agree to disagree if necessary. But it's lovely to hear those different opinions. I like this sound, although like I say, I can immediately tell this is one that would put a lot of people off because of the fact that it doesn't really do anything to bridge the gap. It just very much plays hard and fast towards, hey, if you already like this, you're gonna like this. So as I say, get involved in the comments, and I'm looking forward to speaking to you soon. I'll be reading all of them. I'll try to reply to as many as I can, but for now, from Japan, thanks for tuning in, and ciao ciao. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out more of our hundreds of videos we got online on this channel right now, or get involved in the discussion with us at the many social media links we've got in the description below, where you can suggest new videos and artists for us to check out on the channel. Or you can just do the usual YouTube stuff and comment, like, subscribe. You know how this works by now.